Here's what I'd like to show you in an interview that I had earlier today. As you know that people keep appearing here. Well, I was here earlier in the studio today sort of getting things ready, and a person appeared, you know, his timing must have been off, he appeared early. The visitor was a Russian nobleman, a boyar was the name given to them. It was a boyar, a Russian aristocrat from the year 1698. And when he appeared here, he was in the midst of shaving his beard. By the time we got all the cameras set up, he was sort of somewhat along. But we went ahead with it, and I'll show you the result. Wish I'd been here to see that beard in all its glory. Why are you cutting it off?
Haven't you heard? No. I can see you haven't. You watch yourself, or Tsar Peter's court fool will hack that off for you. Doesn't sound like a very pleasant proposition to me. That's why I'm doing it myself. Ow! And not very well, I'm afraid. So, when are you cutting yours off?
Oh, soon, very soon.
I am convinced the only reason the Tsar is having us shave is that he can't grow a decent beard himself.
Well, actually, I think he considers it to be a symbol of old Russia, especially since his trip to the West.
Oh, yes, the great embassy. He thinks by shaving us, he can turn us into English merchants or master navigators from the Low Countries. Doesn't he realize our beards are sacred?
Well, I understand that some people are saving their beards and going to have them put in their coffin so that after they die, they can make an account to St. Nicholas.
Hey, that's a very good idea. How come you're so smart?
Oh, your clothes. Your Russian clothes. What's going to happen to them?
If I'm not careful, the Tsar himself will cut the sleeves off. That's why I've purchased some Teutonic togs. Aren't they fashionable?
Well, they're different, that's for sure.
Well, it would appear I'm finished. Whoa, I think I'm going to need some practice on this. Well, I guess we're ready for you now.
What? Oh, no. No. Oh. Fortunately, I got away. If you don't believe he was here, I mean, look there. Here you see it. He was here. These people were the ones who were to be suspected, and as such, they could be arrested. So, those who in any way were suspicious, who did not have certificates, who had been public functionaries, those who had emigrated. Excuse me, can I help you?
What is it, Jacques? Huh? They don't look like aristocrats to me. No, I think we must just leave them alone. He'll come along.
Hey, just a minute.
What, hoarders? No, I didn't think so.
That doesn't belong to you. Let that alone.
War on tyrants. War on aristocrats. War on hoarders.
Jacques, here, you take control of the suspect for a moment. Hey, gently now. Now, you had a question to ask?
Yeah. What are you doing to him?
We're taking him to the guillotine. Actually, we'll take him to jail first. There he will have time to think about the crimes that he has committed. He will have time to think about the fate that awaits those that betray the revolution.
Oh, what's he done?
Ask him.
Well?
I have done nothing.
Except
My sister and her husband fled the country 3 years ago.
emigres. And while they attempt to bring down the revolution from abroad, you attempt to do so from within.
No.
Oh, your name is on a list of suspects drawn up by the Revolutionary Committee.
Because of the indiscretion of a relative and the committee's jealousy of my wealth. Profits from our bread.
Can you imagine a state where profits are made by those who oppose its very system of government? That is why we must be strict with even the simplest crime. The moment one turns one's back, aristocracy is the fashion of the day.
Death to aristocrats.
Now, while this may seem harsh, what is harder still for a patriot to stomach is what has happened over the last 2 years. 100,000 soldiers have been slain due to weakness and treason. That is why we must take steps against traitors to the state. That is why we must take them to prison. Come along, Jacques. We have no time to stand around quibbling with an enemy of the revolution.
Death to enemies of the revolution.
The Republic of Virtue had become the reign of terror. Between the issuing of the law of suspects on September 17th, 1793, and July 27th,